Hi, my name is Enzo, and today we're going to talk about how to build a digital setup that makes sense for our starting lab. But before we dive deep into it, like, subscribe, do something about this video, maybe share it with your friend. I don't know. If I were to build from scratch, I'm not going to talk about a huge lab. I'm not going to talk about someone with I don't know, that has a lot, some sort of volume. I'm going to talk about someone that is just starting out and wants to start as a digital lab. First thing, we have to look into market trends, right? And today, I honestly don't see a way that you can be a digital lab without being able to work with zirconia. So we are going to need a zirconia workflow. Let's start with the very beginning. First thing that you're going to need is a scanner. A lot of labs, when they're starting out, they think about getting a lab scan, a tabletop scanner. Those are great options, but I think nowadays, if you get an intraoral scanner, and you can get really affordable intraoral scanners, and they give you the same capabilities of a tabletop scanner, and they give you some more mobility. They are a little bit faster, and if you want to think commercially of maybe renting that scanner out to a couple doctors, maybe going into their clinic, helping them with the scan, there are a lot of commercial options if you have an intraoral scanner. Price wise, an intraoral scanner is going to cost anything from, I don't know, 6,000 all the way up to 30,000. There are a lot of different options. Affordable brands, affordable models that you can look for are the Up3D Clariscan 610, the Shining 3D Link, Panda scanners. There are a lot of options here. If you want to go something a little bit more, I'm going to say value, you can go with a Medit i700. Great option, has some features for the design as well. And if you really want to go premium, you can go for a 3Shape Trios 5, a Medit i900, or if you want photogrammetry in it, you can have the Shining 3D Elite. Those are all good options. From there, once you have the scans, you're going to need to think about a design software. And this is something that we have to think about, is how tight on budget are you to build a lab? If I were really tight on budget, I would try to go for scanners that offer some sort of design software. Options being the ARO Scan 3 from Shining 3D or the Medit i700 from Medit, of course. They have some basic design features that can compensate until you get to the point where you can buy an ExoCAD license. Now, if you have around 10, 12K to spend on a perpetual ultimate lab bundle from ExoCAD, definitely go for it. It's the most well-known software out there, and it's going to be really easy for you to find technicians that know how to use that software, and that is a great advantage. From the design, you're going to have the nesting software, and this is something people don't usually talk about because every mill requires some kind of nesting software. Nesting, you're also going to hear the mill software or the CAM software. They're all the same thing. It's the software that takes the design, puts inside the mill. You have mainly two options here. You have some brands like Up3D, like Sirona, like AG that have their own nesting software, and you have mills from, for example, with XT Sierra, with IMS iCore, with VHF that work with open cams, and you have companies that do both. What is important for you to understand? There are mainly two really good open cams, which are Millbox and Hyperdent, and a lot of brands offer their own. When you're buying open cams, you're usually paying one time for the cam, and then you're paying for the mill separately. Now, when you're buying a mill that carries a mill software, it's going to be all together. Let's talk about the milling machine. If you want to, again, we're talking about a starting out lab that wants to do zirconia, I would definitely go for a 5-axis dry only option. With or without a compressor, it won't make that much difference for a lab. If you're a clinic, definitely it will make a difference to have a compressor free, but on a lab, it might not. What are some great options for zirconia only mills? Definitely the Roland is probably the most well-known. Up3D has two great options, the P53, which is one without an internal compressor. The P55D is the one that doesn't require a compressor. You have the Upsera A52, you have the VHF E5, you have the Sermill Motion Air. There are a lot of options, but those that I mentioned are probably the the better known options in the market right now. After you mill, you have to think about the sintering ovens. And when we think about sintering ovens, there's always the question, should I think about being able to do fast sintering? My point of view as a lab, it makes almost no sense to pay an extra 5, 7, 10,000 to have a sintering oven that can do fast sintering, because in reality, in most labs, sintering is done overnight. And the 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 14-hour cycles, they can be done all overnight until you have a volume big enough where you need a faster turnaround. So to start with, I would go with a, let's call it regular sintering time. What are some great options on the sintering side? If you want to go with entry level, more affordable options, you have the Up3D F20, you have the 8-eyed CSF 300, if I'm not mistaken on the name. You have the Upsera DT1. Those are all good entry level ovens. If you really want to go premium, you can go with the Dikema 674i, Dikema 664i, any sintering oven from the Dikema, to be fair. You also have Neighbortherm. You have some brands that work on this premium side here. After the sintering oven, you're going to have your standard porcelain oven. There are a bunch of options out there. There's not a big secret on these. These are the more, let's call it, traditional ovens that were used to stacking ceramics. Most of them can handle stacking ceramics and staining glaze if you need. That's it. Thank you.